Day 2, Oregon Trail Rally. This is stage 8, it's called Ketchum. This is the stage that did a lot of punishing time through this morning. It did a fair bit of punishing us in our rental car, just trying to get set up here to give you some footage of stage 8. As you can see, we're down, Dylan Van Way has gone by already. That was Steve and Kelly Greer that just went by. Who I would have expected to see next after Dylan Van Way was Mark Fox. His co-driver is hanging out with us because their turbo blew up. I don't think that was because of the rough road though. They lost a turbo on stage 5. Right after Mark Fox was going to be Mason Moyle. Well, there's the Mason Moyle story where he got caught out on a left 3 or a right 3, went off the road and had to get towed back on. Luckily his car doesn't look too bad. He says it drives fine and he hopes to be rallying through the rest of the day if he's not time barred. After Mason Moyle was going to be Brian Gottlieb to come by. Also missing, he had a suspension part break. We saw him on the transit trying to get here and had a ratchet strap holding the control arm where it was supposed to be. Needless to say, as is typical in rallying, things haven't gone according to plan to get us here to stage 8. Oh, it's Garth. Yeehaw! Sweet. That guy knows how to finish the event in a car that, while it is custom and modified and such, it's still kind of original Saab parts and such on there. So he really knows how to make a stock car survive the really punishing stages of Oregon Trail Rally. A little more on our trip here. Sometimes you know you can't trust those Google little lines, those little roads in Google. It really looked like the road connected, and it did. Only we really needed a lifted four-wheel drive to get here. So I'm happy to say I had a little bit of seat time, I could call that today, getting us here where we are here on Ketchum. Anybody want to guess what the next car coming is? We got a little array of marshals and rally volunteers hanging out with us here. No one? A guess? You know what? It's going to be better if somebody else holds this, because I... Lisa LeClaire, if you know the Northwest Rally region very well, you've seen Lisa LeClaire. Last year, was it last year, Lisa? You were making videos for the...
2 years ago, actually.
2 years ago.
Yes,
so Lisa had her own experience making some small videos to cover the events and help the competitors get some experience. So what do you think we're going to see next? I call turbo all-wheel drive.
Let's see.
We'll see. As you can see, we're piecing it together.
I've gotten lost amongst the running time to get here. So.
Yeah. What we can tell you is we did not see Antoine Lestage come by. I know in service they've been worried about an electronic throttle issue. Barrett Dash, making it happen. The crunching sound you heard is his skid plate hitting some of the embedded rocks. Ideally, you set your car up just high enough not to get punched too much by all the rocks tagging the undercarriage of the car, rental car. So we're eating the dust, hanging out on stage 8 for you. Oh, I was talking about Antoine Lestage. His throttle, I think, was a new throttle setup with a sequential gearbox that was going to give him a flat shift capability, so he could just keep the accelerator to the floor and keep shifting through the gears as needed. The throttle pickup must be different. There's an electronic connection there and something wasn't working terribly well this morning. They had to stop on stage twice on this stage before getting a flat and struggle through that. That's Rockroar. Is it David Rockroar?
Daniel.
Daniel Rockroar. All right, cool. Jason Stats should be next if his SER Sentra is still holding together. I don't know if, did you show these embedded rocks, Bill? These are not particularly bad ones, but when these show up right where you're braking or right after a compression, you could have your car on its way settling towards the ground and then the rocks coming up out of the ground, and suddenly you get a massive impact on the skid plate, radiator, and whatnot. Obviously off the edge of the road you see huge rocks that you don't want to have any contact with. I wonder how many cars are still in the event. We've maybe only lost 5 or 7 cars.
Yeah, probably less than 10, definitely.
That's pretty rough when a couple of stages account for 15% of your losses, or maybe 20% of the losses in the event. Surviving these 4 stages is so critical to success on the Oregon Trail Rally. So after the completion of this stage, they go back to service and then get their way out into the high desert region where we're going to run Starve Out, Krista? Is it Starve Out? It's Starve Out and Boyd. Boyd, then Starve Out again. So Starve Out, Boyd, Starve Out. And that completes Saturday. Just making sure I got that right. So we have 3 much smoother, faster, far easier stages to run after we leave here.
Starve Out has a really good spectating area too. It's really fun to see them coming down.
Right, they come down the hill, and the hill's like got some bumps and it's
Cattle
weavy.
So they're always like lots of noise and dust blowing around everywhere.
That's where we're shooting from.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're headed straight there after we leave here probably.
You got to drop this shot off, but it's on the way.
Quick pass by service, drop off some footage, and get ourselves over to Starve Out.
I'm all set for now.
That sounds pretty good. I just ate.
Have corn on the cob.
We got a grill over there.
I don't even.
We're not roughing it up there.
Experienced rallyists bring food
I know.
to cook with them. Not just food to eat, but food to cook on the side of the road in the dirt. Actually, if you watch a lot of World Rally videos, you see thousands of people literally living in the woods for 4 or 5 days while the WRC is in town and going by. Those are those crazy passionate fans that we haven't quite seen erupt yet in the US, and if they did, I don't know if we could manage to deal with them. So I don't know if it's such a bad thing. Maybe we'd love to keep our fans right where you are on the camera or watching us on the TV.
That's a big gap.
It is. As you get further back in the field, especially a few miles, actually we're only 3 miles, 3 miles into Ketchum right now. Being only 3 miles in, the gap shouldn't be this big between the cars. We may have lost more cars than we thought.
Maybe Stats is out. I don't know. Something's going
They
on.
had a regrouping at service,
Oh, okay.
so they all left a minute apart. The rally hasn't spread out as a result of this morning, so they regrouped at service, got back on time, but they ran Fir Mountain first, and that's probably accounting for a lot of gaps we see here. Trying to figure out the simple way to explain this. If a car goes slow on stage, they finish the stage, and then there's a specific amount of time they're allowed to get from the end of one stage to the next. So that same gap that they kind of behind never gets made up. And if you have 60 cars in an event, obviously the further back, the slower the cars are going, that gap keeps opening up. Then suddenly you could have 5 stages that would be running at once if you didn't do something to close that gap back up. As Matt Tabor said, they've got 300 to 350 volunteers to make this thing happen. And even those 350 volunteers would get completely used up if we didn't have regroups and get the field back together and account for those gaps for cars that have gone out. Massive gap. We're going on 3, 4 minutes. If the gap gets bigger and longer, that's when we get worried. We're happiest when we keep seeing cars come by and then, you know, sweep comes by. I might see if Twitter can tell me anything.
Oh, here you go.
Here's a car. Somehow I have a signal. Skid plate. Oh, it's Lachlan. What explains that?
Lachlan is very far back.
Yeah, Lachlan has gone through a lot of trouble already. It's a miracle he's running. So we know he's way behind. He's 10 minutes out of contention in super production. I wouldn't put it past him to make it up. He was going proper like speed here, not to take any chances, but he's cruising along pretty good. He's got a lot of experience and he's got a lot of stage miles to make up a gap. Depending on how the other SP cars go, Lachlan might have a chance to make it to the podium. Regardless, the points he gets here are critical in his chase for super production this season. He'll see competition from Travis Hansen, obviously, when he gets to STPR, and we'll see potentially, I've heard rumor, Raman Alagaman will be there as well running in super production. So STPR stands to show a lot of competition in super production. It's another long gap.
Well, if Lachlan might have asked to jump a few cars and could have caused a gap.
Lachlan might have asked for a dust window of multiple minutes. Don't you think? So when you're in a situation that exactly like Lachlan is, he's had brake troubles, he's way back in the order, he's back among cars that he's way faster than, it's an honest safety issue to be catching these other cars on stage when it's dusty, especially on a stage as technical and with as many risks as Ketchum has. So a good co-driver is going to go plead that case and base it on safety, even if they're hoping to get a little performance advantage out of it as well. You plead the safety case, hope that the organizers will give you a couple minute window. Usually it'll be a dust minute, like an extra minute. So you get a 2-minute window instead of a 1. That felt more like a 4 or 5 minute window, so I think there's probably more going on than just Lachlan asking for a larger window. We'll find that out later as well. They wouldn't, yeah. And a WRX idling.
Yeah,
They-
or transmission dropping in, or
They wouldn't switch to 2 minutes windows midstream. That wouldn't happen because it's not fair. So that wouldn't work,
they were coming pretty quick in the beginning there.
I'll say. Did we get footage of David?
I got everybody.
Cool.
Just not on this camera.
Got it.
Yeah, they're on a flat. Actually, just set this up. Going.
Hey Matthew.
Hi.
This car down here on the hood is, but they were getting flat towed out.
Uh-huh.
With a weebly wobbly wheel that
Oh.
fell off.
Like I said, peace.
Catch you guys and leave. Give me a story for you.
Is it a Subaru?
Yeah, it's an old Subaru.
Oh, it's an old RX. Those are rare.
Wait, what number is it?
Subaru RX. It's like the first WRC entry from Subaru, right? The world level was in what they call Subaru RX, and it was a 2-door. I believe it was a coupe 2-door like this one down here. We might be able to show you some images of that in a little while. But it's what Possum Bourne was driving when he was just getting started with Subaru. And he did his whole professional rally career with Subaru until he left us in 2004 or 5 or 2003. The years go by fast. Anybody remember that? When Possum Bourne died? I just read the book. I should remember it. Yes, it's just me standing in front of the camera. That's definitely one of the things I love about rally that you don't get in other kinds of racing. If you go watch a NASCAR race, there is never a break from getting your eardrums ripped to shreds, and there's like stuff going on all the time. Obviously that's good, and that's, you know, good racing and such. But in rallying, there's lots of just, it's a different culture, it's a different context for racing, and we get these moments that you're like, I've been so busy getting here, where am I? Oh yeah, I'm in Oregon, and why am I in the middle of the woods? Well, I don't know, but it's really cool and it's quiet, and I'm seeing stuff that I normally wouldn't see anywhere else in the country. I appreciate that part of the sport.
The getting up here alone was worth
Did
it.
Did you want to get out of the car and go back?
I actually did get out of the car for the record. It was that scary.
I was pretty sure we weren't going over the cliff, but
No, I have full confidence, full faith in you that we're gonna get up there. But you know, just
I'm glad you did.
I needed some air, and you know, in case you needed a push. I'm there for that, and we made it up.
That car is McMillan and Hanson.
Okay.
McMillan and Hanson stuck over in the corner.
Can I see this?
Yes.
So there, another one lost. I wonder if we had a pen, we could just start checking them off.
You know, I have a pen.
Do you have?
I sure do.
We're going to try to do some of our own organizing here and figure out how many folks we've lost.
All right.
Okay.
Our attrition rate, like.
Call them out.
Okay, coming down the list. And
Lestage,
Antoine, I'm going to assume, is out. He hasn't come by yet. His electrical issues were bad enough that it's the kind of stuff that it could take you out of the event. He's out. Leo came by in a big hurry. Max came by. Lachlan came by.
Eventually.
Mark is gone. Adam came by, moving out. Carl Decker did too. Evan is done. David Sterricks, did they come by?
Yes, they did.
They did come by.
We saw them go by.
Yes, they came by. I remember now. Okay, he's in. Will Orders is still in. How about, I don't know, Hardy, is it Schmidtke? Yes. Oh, they came by. Yep. Chris O'Driscoll came by. ACP came by. Mason Moyle did not. So we lost 4 cars so far in the top 15.
Van Way came by also. He's still in it.
Did Ross Allen? Did both Sylvias come by? Okay. Jamie came by. Rick Song came by. We haven't seen Dave or Rick Hintz in the BMW. Would like to.
Yeah, I would like to see them too.
We haven't seen Cody either.
No.
Ed came by.
Henderson.
So we got a question mark for Cody Crane. Would be really great to see Cody's green Honda survive into the smoother stages, especially all that multiple people did to get him here so that he could keep running.
If you're out in the Northwest, you love Cody Crane's car. You love to watch him drive. It's a fan favorite out here.
He's got a simple formula, like I said earlier.
Just pedal to the metal.
And a good two-wheel drive car.
Drive. That's his method.
Did you see Dave Henderson come by? And Doug Herados? Yep. Is it Herados? I think I ask Doug this every year. Brian is out.
Now we know the Greers came by.
Greers were in. Scott Kovalik, I'm going to say, is out because we saw him on our way here and everybody was already in regrouping.
Yes.
I'm going to say Scott's out, but he might, I'm going to put a question mark. Scott Kovalik, Jason Roy might make it back to service without getting time barred. It's going to be a narrow window and they're definitely going to be towards the back of the field until there's a reseed. Garth is in. How about Nate? Nate Foley?
Nate Foley.
Not come by? We imagine Nate Foley's out. Barrett Dash came by. How about Cameron Steely?
I don't think we've gotten to Steely yet, no.
Foley was at the end of the pack the first time through.
Foley was?
Before sweep, so he might still be in it if he had to fix the service.
Oh, but Nate Foley had problems?
Yeah, front and rear damage.
All right, we'll put a little question mark. That's the downside to running high up the order. Obviously, you want to be high up the order so you don't get held up by dust or anything, but if you do have a problem, by the time you get extracted by sweep, you're going to be time barred by the time you get back to town. If you're one of the back marker cars, I don't want to call them back markers. If you're one of the cars within the last 15 cars, then you've got an opportunity to get a little help from sweep and get going again and get yourself back in the rally. Is that how we do it officially? Is sweep allowed to help us and let us keep going? All right, we're not all the way down to Verena yet. Like, we shouldn't see Verena yet.
We've stalled right here. We've got a big gap starting
right Jason Stats in the SER Sentra.
Question marks right now.
Right.
No Tabers. I haven't seen a single Taber.
They're out. Sorry, Kristen and Janice. We just chatted with Kristen. She didn't tell us it was a problem, but it sounds like they've blown the front strut tops on at least 2 or multiple shocks. They're going to restart the regional tomorrow, so we'll have another all-lady team competing tomorrow. So that's where we are. We're around 40 cars. We should be 40 cars deep. Only about 32 have come by. Maybe we've got another 10 to 15 to come by.
And this whole time we've been standing here and...
Right, so what's going on to cause all that?
I don't know. Big question mark for everybody else.
Here, you hold this. Since you don't have an intelligent phone.
I don't. I have a dumb phone. He has the smartphone, so.
I'm going to get on.
He's going to Twitter it up.
Here's a car.
Right?
So nobody back at the headquarters knows what's going on. They don't even know about these gaps yet.
Okay.
So Higgins and Leo and all those guys are already in service. Apparently Lestage went off on 7, stopped the car, nothing like crazy.
Nothing crazy.
Must have had to stop again.
Well, nothing crazy.
No crashes.
And we do have service out here, too.
So we believe Lestage is
Out. On stage 7.
It's not looking good. Somebody's making their way up.
Why don't you talk about what that's going to mean? All these gaps.
I'm dealing with autocorrect right now. It will not let me spell fur because it wants it to be for mountain, which makes a lot of sense.
Are you tweeting?
Mountains are generally
Making
covered
attempt.
with fur, though, so I can see why maybe it'd be confusing.
So we hear a car.
Still coming. There's a lot of noise.
We finally hear a car. It's been 3 to 5 to 7 minute gap again. Like I said before, there's Fir Mountain that happens before this stage. Something could have gone down there. A car could have rolled and blocked the whole stage for a while. Yes, I don't know who you were. I did get your communication about asking my cameraman to get on the stage a little sooner than he has been.
Got Barbary North through. Oh, something.
Oh, that's all right. So who is that in the 323? I met them yesterday. It's Phil Myers. Is it Tracy? Is Tracy Manspeaker in that car?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just heard the 323, Phil Myers and Tracy Manspeaker come by with making a lot of racket. It was the back of their skid plate's been knocked loose. It's just dragging. Other than really annoying the participants of the car, it doesn't technically slow the car down, but it really gets to you when the bottom of the car is like, it sounds like somebody is under your car with a sledgehammer just going for it. And then the front bolts are likely to get squeezed and flexed a lot, and then they could break, and then skid plate falling off is a significant problem then. So we just saw Barbary.
Yes. Barbary came
Miguel,
through.
okay, good.
A little slow.
He
through
was-
there,
he
just
was-
kind of
Chilling.
chilling it out.
All right.
but Still in it.
So maybe we'll see another focus come by of Steve and Janie, Steven and Rachel. And I hear cars on stage. Hopefully we're back moving from whatever happened earlier.
We got about
What happened?
5 minutes
What happened? That's the question.
Of
film before this is going to be done.
okay.
So we'll
How-
start heading back in 5.
Okay, we could do that. You could start, we're just talking about what we're going to do with the amount of film we've got here to best show what we can show. We could stop it now, and some interesting things might drive by in a little while.
I could just switch it, but we'd have to do 2 shows.
Okay, let's don't do that. Let's make it nice and easy. Let's keep it on this one.
We'll get another car or 2 and go figure out what all this drama is. With this, they're going to end up having to hold cars for a lot longer. The regroup's going to take a while. We're going to be behind schedule, but we might get to actually find out what the hell's going on in service.
So what we're realizing is that service is going to take a lot longer than planned. They'll have to use the next service as another regrouping control. And with the rally this spread out over just doing 2 stages, we likely are going to be able to get ourselves to service to continue the story. Here we go. All right. Wow. I can't say enough about what that experience is to just destroy the suspension and wheels on your car down this stage. I don't know what suspension they're on, but it's not very rally specific suspension. Those tires were just like up and down and up and down and up and down. So it's likely they've got hopefully a lot of spare suspension parts, standard ones, to put on there.
Coming in hot. Oh, somebody's coming in real hot. Maybe this is Crane. Nope.
It's Verena. Awesome.
Lovely ladies coming through.
Yeah,
Nice.
Verena's on a
Cool.
charge. Usually when things get rough and technical, you know, Verena's still a newer driver, and this is a very complex and difficult stage. I'm really impressed by what I just saw. She's moving out. Whatever she's been doing to study with Tim O'Neill and the practice she's been putting in, looks like it's paying off to me.
I couldn't drive like that on this one. Which is why I'm standing here.
All right, we're down to Verena. Now we've got a Subaru, I hear. Maybe it's Tracy Gardner. It is. I'm going to vote on it's Tracy Gardner and Erica.
Come on, ladies.
It's not. It's Mason.
Mason Moyles back in.
Yeah. Good.
Slow, it's looking good.
It lets you know how
So-
far back in the field we are. He went to service, got himself out to service, and back here quick.
So not a question mark anymore.
Okay, good. Yeah, he's in. It's like just a different thing to look at. You could be in a lazy boy at home.
VIP angle.
I know, right? It's almost like a good internet commercial for high-speed internet. Here we bring you out of your couch and put you right there in the action.
So our start list at this point is just, we could just take this and throw it in the woods and,
Make a fire.
yeah, just make a fire. 'Cause we're just guessing at this point. Listening and training. Somebody else is coming.
Start betting for drinks later.
Actually, we should
I was
bet.
supposed to make some bets for 7-Ups after the event. Actually, with Byron Garth was the one that wanted to start that deal. I'll make some bets about darts.
Contour off our car.
Whoops. It's not ideal. Those are.
We were grabbing brush close to the edge of the car.
I know how it feels. Yeah, an event like this narrow, you really got to put cameras on the sides of the car.
Oh, do I hear 2 cars? No?
Oh,
I hear an
good
I
observation.
think I hear 2.
You do. That means car number 2 can't see very well.
No.
That's about as fast as he's going to be able to go. Maybe actually there's a clearing further down here. And another car.
That's the
That-
Integra.
Is it the yellow Integra?
Oh, that's not, yeah, I hear it.
Could be Cody.
All right, we're about to switch to
Okay.
the other card.
We're just going to switch to the other card and get
Well.
pieced together or something.
Yeah, I'd say bye-bye.
Go ahead and say bye-bye. Are we in the last minute?
Last like 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. We're signing off from Stage 8 for now. We brought you what we could. It's a dusty experience with a lot of carnage out here. We'll tell the story from service later. I'm Matthew Johnson. Lisa LeClaire, thanks for joining us.